Hey guys, welcome back to the third episode of my podcast, Reel It In. I'm Isabel. With me again is my friend. Say hello. Don't whisper. This isn't an
Hi.
ASMR.
All right, you're really gonna throw that back in my face?
Maybe. Say hello.
Hi. We were testing earlier because there was a ridiculous amount of feedback in the last one, so that's my fault. I apologize. We were testing, and during mic check, this one decides to go, "Hello, can you hear me?" And I go, "Girl, this is a mic test. You need to speak up in a normal voice so I know whether I need to adjust anything or not."
We get along very well in real life, just so anyone who's wondering.
We're siblings. We are siblings. We are brother and sister. So, sometimes we argue about things.
People who've been listening will be like, I thought you said he was your friend.
We're good friends.
Yeah, we're very good friends. Anyways, so last Friday, the newest episode of Mando came out. Chapter 12, right?
Yep.
We just watched it too. I don't know why I'm hesitating. I
don't remember the title either.
It was called The Siege. The Siege. Anyways, a lot happened. We finally got a continuation of the child's storyline. And up until this point, I kind of forgot the child had a storyline. I was quite content to watch him just be cute and coo and make little baby noises and breathe. I was very content to watch that happen. But I'm glad that we're back on track. Because it's not the Baby Yoda show. Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know.
It's the Mandalorian show. But I think in the last couple episodes, there's been quite a good balance between, Baby Yoda cuteness and then some Mandalorian action. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I mentioned last time, because I made a point on that the moments where he kind of takes a back seat, at least for me, from like a storytelling standpoint, is kind of nice, because you can actually tell the story. You're not so much distracted by coos and giggles and this and that, whereas like sometimes there's a happy balance.
Mm-hmm. Right, so in this episode, Mando, he's on his way back to Navarro.
Oh, big spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's always spoilers.
at this point,
we've been kosher. We've waited.
Yeah.
But he's going back to Navarro, right? That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because his ship is still in disrepair, cannot get to where he has to go. And we see that a previous character has come back, Cara Dune, and she's now a marshal. I'm kind of glad that her storyline took her there. And, she cleaned up like a whole planet on her own. Kind of crazy.
And Grief Karga as well.
Yeah, he was doing clerical work, though, as he says, wink, wink. What is that supposed to mean?
You asked me very prematurely.
Well, I don't know. I was very confused. Isn't cleric work, isn't that like priests? Isn't that what that is?
I don't think so.
That's clergy. That's clergy.
Yeah.
Okay. I promise you guys, I'm kind of smart. I promise.
She's definitely smarter than me. I can say that much. She's about to have a master's and all this other stuff.
Well, a thought that hit me when I was watching the episode is, so the actress Gina Carano. I'm sorry, guys. I can't pronounce anything these days. But she was previously like not an MMA fighter. Was it MMA?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of interesting that why are so many like professional fighters turning into like actors? Like you got The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Vin Diesel, wasn't he?
Vin Diesel arguably is an actor, yes.
But he was a fighter too, right?
You have John Cena.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I just keep thinking about that one vine. The kid who starts playing his theme through his nose on the recorder on two like $5 recorders. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's not really. I just wanted to say something that
it is kind of interesting. Sasha Banks too, I think, was a MMA fighter.
Oh, I was
or
not
a wrestler.
Yes, yeah, I live under a rock, so I don't know people or what they do with their lives. So I just think it's interesting.
I mean, so this was a big episode though. It's um definitely big plot points, and at least for me there's like good pacing, and kind of like the last episode really kind of propels it. I think the direction that this season is going to kind of crescendo into. I feel like we've kind of just gotten started and we don't have that much to
I
go,
know.
but that's kind of how this series tends to go, is that it'll kind of start off a little slow and then it'll just kind of go just take off.
Yeah, usually it'll introduce like, what is seemingly random characters, and at the end they all come together, and you see how everything connects.
Yeah.
I do think
So there's no such thing as filler, mind you. I also side, I'm partial because I respect and follow Dave Filoni, and I've seen like all the little featurettes and whatever of like his stuff with Clone Wars and Rebels and even Mando. And there's not really such thing as a filler, because at some point they do take elements of something. So just
yeah, and this is in the Mandalorian, season 2. This is the second time.
this is just a bigger meal than I think some of the episodes. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, but this is the second
chapter-
time in 2 episodes that we've seen the New Republic show up.
Yeah.
So that's got to mean something. Are they going to show up again at the very end? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's why I made that point at chapter 10. Everyone's like, it's a filler episode with Frog Lady and the spiders. I didn't like that episode because of the spiders. I wish I could have enjoyed what the production team was able to put together, but unfortunately, I need serious psychological help to be able to do that.
I told you, I just tape your eyes open.
No, that will... I
Scar
will
you
have a
for-
seizure. I will have a seizure and a breakdown, like an actual breakdown, not a mini one. And you don't want to be there for that. Trust me.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, it's a big connective tissue with, to quote a YouTube comment I saw, because I was listening to the soundtrack of it, and we'll circle back around to this, but there was a comment you made about the music kind of making a few little connections, and I was listening to that, and someone did make a comment that was like, I don't care what people say, I like how this is connective tissue between the prequels and the originals and the sequels, which I also really like. I like how this fills in a lot of spaces. Some people are like, oh my god, baby Yoda is gonna have something to do with Snoke and Palpatine, and like, I have my own opinions about the sequel trilogy, but at the end of the day, I do like for things to make sense.
Right, because there is a big gap in
That's why I
our
love-
knowledge for the
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker and the events that happened within that movie.
Yeah, but like that's why like I'm able to enjoy the prequels now, especially Episode 3, because of the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars did a lot of explaining and filling in, gaps and questions, and like I like that. I like that because it all becomes one cohesive saga. So, anyway.
Right. So you were talking about some music cues, just a moment ago. I'm not sure if anyone else who was watching the episode noticed this, but when Mando and the crew, the gang, when they're going into that, I guess, lab facility, and they go to, it's not a cloning, it's a lab. I guess it's a lab. They go into the lab and they see this.
Some giant petri dish.
Yeah, they see this little body. It looks kind of Snokey, but there's a very similar theme.
There's like 4 of them.
Well, yeah, but they focus on one of them in particular. But there is some notes of Snoke's musical theme when they're looking at the body.
Some notes of Snoke.
Listen, I'm not.
Some notes of Snoke. some hints of dark side.
I am not adverse to
Just like
musical
how I like my wine.
knowledge.
No. I'm not making fun of you.
Well, I'm sure I said it wrong anyways. Snoke's theme is there. If you want to listen around the 19-minute mark of the episode, it's there.
And then the cue is called The Experiment, I think. So I mean, you can listen to it. And I agree that it's not quite the same. It doesn't have that same like riff that he has in the film, but it is very Snokely. It's very at the very least, it's very dark side.
Yeah. So, and in a way, this is sort of how it ties the child, Baby Yoda, back into the storyline. We see a holo recording. What is his name? The scientist? Do you remember? The scientist from season 1, episode 2, who was doing something to Baby Yoda. Well, as it turns out, they were using Baby Yoda's blood to sort of make these Pershing. Okay. Well, he was using the Baby Yoda's blood to basically make, I'm gonna call them creatures because they're not bodies. They don't look like bodies exactly. So I'm just gonna call them creatures. He's talking about how failures. How Baby Yoda has quite a high M count, which can be derived to the midichlorian count. And previously, the highest was Anakin Skywalker. I think he was above even Yoda himself. So, which is crazy. Connor, you look like you want to say something.
No, I didn't. So we tend to rewatch these, just so it's like fresh on our mind before we do the podcast. And I hadn't noticed that before, because like someone made comments to like watch it. If you don't want me to just say it outright, just watch it with subtitles. Because there were a couple things that I didn't quite catch up on. Because I was having a little breakdown, so my brain wasn't totally there. So we went back, and then the M count, I'm like, wait, there's that means something in particular.
Yeah. So
So again, that connection to the whole Star Wars,
right?
Because midichlorians were mentioned, in the prequels, and then I don't think ever again. Certainly wasn't brought up in the sequels. I don't think
the originals definitely not.
The originals didn't. I don't even think the Clone Wars did.
Yeah, no.
To my knowledge,
maybe like once or twice. If
to my remembrance, it was not.
Yeah, but something else I picked up, which kind of has me confused, because up until this point, my I guess hypothesis is that Snoke was just kind of grown like in a petri dish sort of thing. But they're talking about how like the volunteers who get like injected with the blood have failed. So does this mean whoever becomes Snoke, were they once someone else?
So I did not read the whole series. I don't remember the issue, but there is an issue of, I think it was of Kylo Ren's comic, where like they kind of delve into that a little bit, and there's this weird like psychedelic like vision where he was like, I was not born Snoke, I became Snoke. So like I think that is kind of a hint. God, I wish I could remember the name of the issue. And I don't remember the full context either, because I only actually fully read like 2 of them. But like there's this, it's weird. It's really weird, but it was kind of I think it's starting to connect to that like, I think maybe Snoke acknowledges that he wasn't born and that he was made.
Right.
And created and just kind of spontaneously appeared and just knew how to function in the galaxy.
Right. But I'm thinking more like because we were talking about like who would volunteer for this, and it's like, well, probably someone who's very, very poor and they're offered a large sum of money, or an Imperial sympathizer. It kind of sounds like whoever Snoke was, if he was someone else and not just like grown in a test tube, that he was like a person, like a real I don't even know how to say it, but which is, I don't know, because then he looks real weird, he's got like a chunk of his head missing, which I don't know.
And I think the one body that they show has a very similar indentation, but it shows that like it almost looks like like a tumor grew and like formed like a secondary body that just like
Yeah.
completely just got all messed up.
Right. And his that was a very bony body we saw. Like his elbow and shoulder and hip are very defined. Like there's like basically any meat on him. It's just bones and skin and
I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
listen.
I'm kidding.
Even
I'm
you
kidding,
have
I'm kidding.
even you have more meat than test tube Snoke does right now. So
I'm small.
I think that was the biggest part. Well, one of the biggest parts about this new episode. Because then after that, they're blowing up the lab facility and they're escaping in what was it called, that cruiser thing?
I don't remember.
Okay,
It's just a transport.
a transporter. So what I liked about that whole scene is that I
It's
think
fun.
it is fun. You know, this episode had a bit of everything. They had like a siege, they had a raid on the Imperial factory, they had a chase scene, and they also had an aerial battle at the end, which is cool. But what I like is that they don't always rely on Baby Yoda's Force abilities to get them out of trouble. They get themselves out of trouble, which I like because I think it adds more to their character. It's, you know, it proves that they're capable of, like, you know, fighting in this battle or war, whatever it's going to turn into.
Well, haven't we only seen that like twice with... Do you really have to do that right now? I don't know if you hear there's sirens in the background. It's distracting me. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's only happened twice, where he kind of like force shielded the
fire.
flamethrower, and then when he heals Grief at the Michael attack. I think they're called Michaels.
Yeah,
Unless
but the
they're different
flamethrower
dragons.
especially, like, that's a lot of power for a little thing.
Yeah.
And that's a really big thing to get them out of trouble for.
Yeah.
Because they could easily rely on him, which I think would not be a good thing to do.
So the healing, though, I kind of want to make an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't want to get like too immersed in like a theory.
No, please do, because all the theories have been from me, so I'm glad to have one from you.
I'd like to see if that gets explained. So far, a lot of things are being very nicely like explained within the whole universe, and specifically providing a little bit of context for the sequels. Especially with the whole rebellion or with the resistance in the New Republic, which I'll come back to. But the healing ability, I'm wondering if that is one of those like quote unquote unique Force abilities. So like Cal Kestis in Fallen Order, my twin brother,
They do look very much alike.
yeah, just so Cal Kestis, if he had brown eyes and darker hair, that is basically me. Anyway, so he has like the Force psychometry, which is similar to Quinlan Voss. But in the game, Sir Junda, his mentor and kind of savior, let's be real, mentions that it's a very rare ability. So I'm wondering if, like that and some other things, that the healing is one of those like rare abilities, or it's like harder to understand. And the reason why it wasn't, you know, a big plot device in the prequels and the originals, other than, you know, oh, we just didn't think of that, or like that would have been too easy, is that like, first of all, in the prequels, if it's hard to understand, it's hard to understand. Historically, Barriss Offee has been known to be able to have that ability, but like if it's not something, so like the Jedi don't cling on to life, so it also probably was not something that was valued in terms of like abilities as much,
Right.
and for sure Luke would have saved his father at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, if he had known of the
If
ability.
he had known about it, right? So I'm wondering if when Mando brings the child to either Ahsoka or even Ezra, if that ever shows up. I'll just say Ahsoka for now because that's for sure. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to make too many false assumptions, but I'm wondering if she recognizes that and makes note of it, and then with Luke in that period of time just kind of perusing the galaxy because, there's no quote-unquote real threat yet.
Yeah, because
so
he's looking
for
for, like, ancient relics.
And, like, secrets and just trying to really dissect the Jedi way and the ways of the Force. That maybe he'll make note of that and then put that in his teachings, and that's how Ben learns it, and ultimately how Rey learns it for the sequels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. I've heard a couple things, not a lot though, but how I know a lot of people would like to see Luke turn up in the Mandalorian series.
Yeah.
And what we described, it might be possible, especially if he's out looking for, secrets and treasures. Treasures. Homage to Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo. Treasures.
There's treasures in that mansion.
All right, so let's talk.
Shaggy says zoinks. Scooby says ruh-roh. Daphne, what does Daphne say?
Jinkies.
No.
Yeah, she says jinkies.
Daphne.
Oh, Daphne?
Oh, jeepers.
Jeepers.
Velma says jinkies. What does Fred say? Treasure. Fred says no. I can't say what I want to say because I don't want to blur myself out.
Fred says treasures. No, Fred says let's split up, gang.
Well, I have a Scooby-Doo cast for sure.
For sure. Anyways, let's talk about the ending of this episode. Second biggest scene, I feel like, is we finally see Moff Gideon. We saw him in the hollow. What are they called? Holograms?
Hologram.
Yeah, holograms. Anyways, we saw him there, but we see him now in real life. And he has...
In real life.
And he has what you and I are calling purge troopers. But they could go by a different name because purge has already been, done.
Already happened. So the purge troopers in Kanan is the extreme stormtroopers, basically, that are specifically, meant to hunt down the last of the Jedi.
Right.
So
maybe they'll be
so
called
I'm
Death
wondering
Troopers.
with all this cloning stuff too, if like,
because I'm wondering what he's going to fill those suits with, or who he's going to fill those suits with,
or if they're even to be filled. So I didn't get. You kind of get like a glimpse of them. You see that they're like black glossy bodies.
Yeah,
I thought they have really funky helmets.
I thought I saw like a red light turn on from the inside.
Yeah.
From depending on the camera angle, it's what it looked like to me.
They're almost like those like sentry droids.
Right.
From Rebels. So I'm wondering, if this is like homage to the Legends Purge Trooper, but instead of a Purge Trooper, if it's like a Death Trooper. Because the Purge has already happened, unless he's also calling it the Purge, in which case, Moff Gideon, you are not very creative.
When has the Empire ever been creative?
That's fair.
And then we also find out that a tracker has been put on the Razor Crest, which is Mando's ship, so Moff can follow him, which is going to come into my theory that I said last episode. We could have a Moff versus Ahsoka. And if Moff has those quote-unquote, unquote, purge troopers, that might be the edge we're talking about. That would be very challenging for Ahsoka to battle, especially if there's like a vast number of them. I love my theories.
Oh, if only we had a video set up and you could see my stupid face. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Oh, I'm so worried for my girl Ahsoka.
Me too.
I mean, even though she's what, like 50, 60?
Around
I still
time.
feel like she could kick some butt.
Oh, I'm sure she still can. I'm sure she's going to give us quite a show.
Like,
with whatever she does.
It's like that. It's like that tweet I sent of you of like Meryl Streep doing like a jumping split.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep at 60, me at 20 have like scoliosis in my 20s.
Groans when you have to get up off of the couch.
Oh my god, the dad noises, the popping. When I wake up in the morning, I know this is TMI, but when I wake up in the morning, I sound like a bag of Doritos. It's pretty ridiculous.
Why Doritos?
Just because it's just constant. Every single joint just goes.
Oh gosh. All right, and then we also see, I think I already mentioned this, but we see the New Republic talking to Cara Dune at the end, basically trying to recruit her to join them. And so that either might open up a new storyline for her, maybe a new arc or a new show. Who knows?
Maybe.
Or I know there's been some...
Well, it definitely gives her more of an arc. And a quick note to make... I again keep going back to the whole inclusivity of everything. But I definitely... It might explain... Like, he makes a comment... God, I don't remember his name.
She said Blue. So I guess his name is Blue?
No.
I don't know. Was that just like a weird thing?
No, I forget. I'm terrible with names. If I ever meet anyone in person and I forget your names, don't take it personally. I'm just so bad.
He forgets my birthday.
Anyway,
so.
The officer who speaks to her basically makes a comment though that like there is a threat, like this weird regime of the Empire is a threat, but the leaders, quote unquote, in the core systems don't believe it, and that he needs help on a local level. So I think that's where the resistance will ultimately rise. And just kind of, because there is a little confusion to that, because with The Force Awakens, you just kind of jump in and boom, the New Republic is gone. And you're just like, wait, so, but if they were the leading political force, then what is the resistance resisting if they're the good guys also? So it's like, they're the good, the First Order is the bad, and then the New Republic is kind of the meh, you know, not really aligned. Well, I guess the New Republic would be the ignorant. But it also, a little message there that things sometimes cannot happen unless they start from individuals, and the individuals rise up and call for change. Just a little glimpse into my head, but sorry. What was your original question?
It wasn't a question. It's just a comment that, you know, this might open up new segues for Cara Dune. Also, I have learned that there is some recent, that people are not happy with her over some comments that she has made. So some people think that this is a way for her to leave the show without, you know, killing her or just writing her off or just not showing her up, just not showing her anymore.
Graceful write-off.
Yeah.
So there's, and I don't know everything. So, but the thing is, a lot of times people will make comments and on like storytelling things, they'll make comments thinking that like they just made it and produced it like days before it was released. This show supposedly has been in production like fairly quickly for a long time. So like they already greenlit season 3 a while ago, and then season 2 was greenlit like a quarter way through the debut of season 1.
Right.
And like people hadn't even really gotten like a we like this or not. And they already, you know, had the go ahead and started writing. So I'm not sure if those are entirely valid. They, you know, I think they're writing 3. They're either writing 3 or they're getting ready for production. I don't remember. But
so what you're saying is that this episode was filmed even before season 1 finished.
Before we finished watching, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, this is filmed a long time ago. So, like, people would make comments on, like, Rebels all the time. And Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo, too, have come forth and, like, we didn't film these yesterday. Like, these were done probably, like, a year before. So, some of the, like, you're doing this because of this. Like, that's just, some of it is, you know, purely coincidental, and then you're just making those connections. But like, there's a cohesive story they're trying to tell.
Right.
And to be fair, Gina Carano has said some things that are provocative, and there have been some things that have offended people, like on an individual level. But, and this is where, like, I'm not necessarily going to have a hot take on cancel culture. I was thinking about it. Because also every single episode so far, somebody has been upset with something, and like 90% of it isn't even valid.
Right.
So, to keep it brief, because I'm going to table my hot take on cancel culture for maybe another podcast. So I'm also not just I'm not being a hypocrite and getting mad for no reason. But like, God, I'm like losing track.
Right.
I'm losing track.
Well,
but like,
we'll table it, but
we'll table it. But what I have to say is, like, I don't want to necessarily cancel people. Some people have done absolutely unforgivable things or said unforgivable things. But at the end of the day, in instances like this, some of the things that she says has offended people or it's triggered people, whatever. But what I would like from that is for her to acknowledge that and be human about it. It kind of doesn't matter to an extent that she is a celebrity. She's still a person.
yeah.
It still offends people. So it would be nice to see, especially because of the fact that she is a celebrity, and whenever you say stuff like that, you basically advertise your opinion.
Yeah. Especially if you say it on social media.
If it's directed towards people, like, individually, like, I know there was an issue with her and some people with the pronoun game, because some people take that very seriously. Especially, like, people that go beyond, like, quote unquote
Gender
norms, right?
Yeah.
So the people who identify as they, or people who are transgender or whatever, you know, that's their choice. But some people really value that, and that kind of needs to be respected.
Yeah.
And so when there are things like making fun of that, really hurts people on an individual level. So, like, I would like for things like that to be acknowledged, and she's like, you know what, maybe I have other opinions, but I'm going to keep that to myself.
Right. So, yeah, it's okay to have differing opinions than other people.
For sure.
It's just, it's not okay to attack someone for having a different opinion.
Yeah.
I think we'll end that topic on there, because it can get pretty political, and this is sort of, we don't want to get people aggravated listening to our podcast.
No.
So that's what
In
we
that
had.
case, you can come over to my own personal podcast. I don't have one. Called Connor's Hot Takes. Where he just gets angry at everything. No, that's extremely hypocritical. No, I have very specific thoughts on cancel culture, and I just think that we need to stop just jumping the gun too quickly, and just, like, you know, let's help people learn from their mistakes, not, you know, push them down because they made them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very air nomad of you.
It's me trying to be a Jedi.
I know.
It's that
the one
Jedi.
true Jedi.
I learned from the best, Ahsoka Tano.
All right, so I think that's what we have for the Mandalorian series so far. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
There are some other things that came out this week.
That Sharkboy and Lavagirl sequel.
Yes. Oh my God. It looks something else. I feel like we have not.
We're connecting it because Pedro Pascal is also in the Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Well, I mean, this is also reeling it in, right? We're going to talk about media and film, and this is a film that's coming out.
I loved the first Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
I did too. So even rewatching it, it's, you know, it's a little cringy because, I mean, obviously it's made for kids.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that don't age entirely well, but it does hold a very special place in my heart. I think that movie and Spy Kids 3, oh my god.
Any of the Spy Kids, but the
Spy
third
Kids
one
3
in general.
is my favorite of the Spy Kids.
Same.
But
that's the video
those
game one,
two movies were the first two movies that I ever saw in 3D.
Oh my god.
Because it was early 2000s. The blue and the red like thing had just become like it was the pinnacle of like technology of the era other than the internet.
3D?
Oh my god, the original 3D. So I remember seeing them in the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
I think I watched both of those on like the Disney Channel when they played good things. And I think why no offense to anyone who likes Disney Channel. But I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because they played all these movies, and it was rare if they got Sharkboy and Lavagirl. So I would only watch it once in a blue moon. So like it was good, but like it wasn't overplayed for me. I just love it.
It holds such a special place in my heart, even though it's like not the greatest of like films. But I am like kind of excited about it. Taylor Dooley's coming back, which has me excited. She's the original Lavagirl. Yeah. What I think is like this definitely has like a targeted audience, especially with like,
the people who watched Sharkboy and Lavagirl when they were younger, and who kind of.
Well, I think also it's definitely for the kids of that newer generation. Well, just like the old ones. All the protagonists are really, you know, they're kids. It's there's like 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them.
They had a big group.
There was quite a group of like super kids. One of them, I think, like turned into a shark.
No, that's Sharkboy and Lavagirl's daughter. She was riding a shark.
Yeah, or something. Oh god, I can't even remember. But I think one thing that I really like about it is it still looks very 2004.
It does. It does.
They did not adapt the CG. At least, like, in this trailer. Maybe they'll, like, render things differently. They kind
of made it worse, in a way.
It kind of does.
Like, the original Lavagirl's lava was prime. It looks like they just plastered, like, a green screen onto her this time, and then just, like, put an image of lava onto the green screen. That's what it looks like with her new lava.
I think it's because either stuff isn't fully rendered yet, or
even during the pictures.
what I would love to happen is that it looks the way that it looks in the trailer, and that they're like, you know what, we're not going to adapt this. We want it to like pick up right, like this is the cinematic universe. This is 2005, guys, where CG wasn't quite there yet. Or like, if you wanted it to be there, it cost billions of dollars.
I'm glad that they didn't change the suits too much, though. Like there's little spot differences, but overall, it's the same suits.
Oh my goodness, I'm like kind of excited for it, and I know it's really not like targeted towards my demographic, but you know, maybe it'll be one of those like drunk movies where I'll just like down a bottle of wine and watch it and just be like, you know, this is the greatest, this is a cinematic masterpiece. Kind of like the live action Scooby-Doo's from James Gunn,
especially the second one, Monsters Unleashed.
Oof,
perfection.
Oh yes, when you're sober enough to remember it. Long story short, we played a drinking game and it did not end well for me because
and we played incorrectly.
I weigh 60 pounds and
he weighs 120. He's not a skeleton.
Actually, I'm 112.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not my fault.
I know.
It's not my fault. Well,
every girl right now listening wishes that she had your metabolism.
No, you don't. I'm cold and tired and hungry literally all the time.
Yeah.
Why do you think my bones hurt? Because I have nothing to, like, keep them.
You have no shock absorbance.
Exactly. I'm surprised I've never broken anything.
I'm surprised I haven't either. Do you know how clumsy I am? I could have easily broken a finger during that Halloween 5K, but I didn't.
Me too. I've fallen before too.
But anyways,
the only thing, so back on track. The only thing about We Can Be Heroes is what it's called. Not Sharkboy and Lavagirl 2.
who was the villain? I didn't quite catch that, to be honest, in the trailer.
I didn't either.
They're fighting something.
Because there's just Pedro Pascal being like, there's aliens among us.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
They look like robots, not aliens.
There's something among us. But, like, the only thing is that I don't think, at least they haven't announced it yet, that Taylor Lautner is returning Sharkboy. I don't know, maybe it's like a big twist. Maybe like it's a Force Awakens kind of thing where it's all about finding Sharkboy, or Sharkboy has gone into exile, or I don't know. But like, they haven't credited him on anything. It doesn't look like he's part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's on the promo posters.
Yeah, but that's not Taylor Lautner.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could kind of see him not wanting to do it.
I don't know. I'm hurt. I'm really hurt by it.
I'm not too hurt. Well, I'm hurt because like it would be cool to have the same.
You know, I haven't heard from him doing anything in media lately, so I hope that he's, okay, living his life.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why it could work is because, the original, even Lavagirl and Sharkboy are also children. So, like, having a child and then having to replace him as an adult is not too bad, because he could literally look like anything to a certain degree.
I mean, but the thing is that the children are now adults. So,
well, yeah.
I'm kind of, like, excited for it, but also low-key for the wrong reasons.
What, because of nostalgia?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's, like, the nostalgia, and then because it does not look very polished.
It does not. It really does
and
not.
I think, for some reason, my brain is telling me that I'm going to force myself to enjoy it because of that.
Honestly, for any part...
If George Lopez comes back, I will just lose my... Oh my... I almost said it. Anyway, I will just lose my marbles. I will go absolutely crazy.
Well, only time will tell. I want to know if that Lionel kid, he was like the villain.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna come back.
I wonder if he's the villain.
No, because he turned good at the end. Oh, and the Ice Princess, who was like his
the
crush?
Teacher's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of adults, so.
Yeah, there's so much that could happen.
Right. Only time will tell. Or next trailer. Because that was like a 2-second teaser trailer. It wasn't really like a full-on one.
It was like 40 seconds. Literally 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's a Netflix original too, I think.
Is it?
So I think honestly, and no shade to Netflix, because they have some really fantastic shows.
They do. Most Netflix originals are really prime, so I'm hoping this one's prime too.
I think because it's like Netflix Kids, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
I think that's maybe why it looks the way it looks, but I'm still really excited. Are
you gonna have a Sharkboy Lavagirl Heroes Among Us party?
Maybe.
Some shark popcorn.
I don't know. Maybe I'll make a fancy drink or something that looks like lava.
Ooh, yeah. I drank that. So I know you also wanted to talk a little bit about WandaVision.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm getting excited for that too. And I know
when
the
does that come out
teaser came out a while ago, sometime next year.
I thought it was closer.
Let me look it up.
I know a lot
Like,
of people...
it's coming up, though, because they finished shooting. I know that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were kind of hesitant about it because they thought it was just going to be some silly comedic, I guess, TV show.
That is me.
That's you?
It's December!
Yeah.
December of this year.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
I thought
knew
it was like
coming out
January
soon.
of next year.
No, one more month. I'm excited to watch it. Wanda and Vision are two of my favorite MCU
January
characters.
15th.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was right.
Boo.
Yeah, I knew it got pushed back. But, like, not by a lot, but by a little bit. I was one of those people that was a little hesitant because I'm also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not so much the comics. I have a lot of catching up to do, I know. Don't give me garbage for it. It's so hard not swearing.
Control yourself.
I'm like having to find like words that aren't ridiculous. Anyway, I have a lot of catching up to do with the comics, but with the cinematic universe, I love Wanda, and I really think that there is a lot of potential there. And I was afraid that with the way that WandaVision was initially being marketed, that they were not, using that potential.
Mm-hmm. I think she's supposed to actually be called Scarlet Witch in this series. Yeah.
That would be super great because they just call her Wanda. They don't, I think, actually call her the Scarlet Witch.
No, I haven't heard
once. Which
the
would
most
be really
powerful Avenger. #
honestly
WandaVision.
the strongest Avenger.
Yeah.
At least the strongest female Avenger. I don't know. I think she's the strongest Avenger. Period.
I do too. She basically could have very easily taken out Thanos if certain other events did not transpire.
Yes.
I also kind of think Wanda has to, gain her own self-confidence.
She's also like a kid. Isn't she supposed to be like our age? She's like in her 20s.
Yeah, I think so, early 20s. So, but I mean, I do think she's supposed to gain confidence in her abilities because we see in Infinity War, I actually just watched the beginning of that last night. She's trying to save Vision from being attacked because he has the Mind Stone. And she does a decent job, but it's not like, it's not bad girl Wanda exactly. And then again, when she does have all this power, it's because she's very emotional. She's scared, or her love of trying to protect Vision allows her to go as far as she did with Thanos. And then in Endgame, she's angry because Thanos killed Vision basically. So that's where her power comes from. So I think maybe in a way, hopefully, we will see in WandaVision
learning how to harness that.
Yeah, without
focus,
without
having
control.
To feed into anger and emotion.
Right.
So to become more. I'm not gonna say it. You know where I'm going with it though. Yeah, I'm like now really excited though because it was originally I think very trickily marketed, but it's like a sitcom, but it's also not.
Yeah, it's supposed to cover like 6 decades of comedy, is what I heard. But hopefully also have a good storyline.
Yeah, and a good, maybe it'll throw Vision back into, because this isn't it like they're dead, but they're not really dead. It's in like a separate dimension. It's almost like a soul dimension. Yeah,
because I think Wanda did something. Either with the Mind Stone or with she did something with reality, and basically that messes up the MCU a little bit, and it has consequences. I'm not sure what those consequences are, but I know that Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, is supposed to fix whatever Wanda did, is what I've heard, is what I've been reading. So stuff can happen.
Which is very interesting to think about.
Yeah, and I think Spider-Man might make an appearance in Doctor Strange's
I know Doctor Strange
movie.
is supposed to make an appearance in Spider-Man 3.
Right.
Or MCU's Spider-Man 3, excuse me. I need to be politically correct with that, because Spider-Man 3, home something. It's going to have... Home again, probably. Oh, I feel it... What did Michael Giacchino say? He tweeted something, or like he started, I think, composing, which I love Michael Giacchino so much.
Yeah, he posted Spider-Man.
I am jealous of. We have a friend. Oh, he just said happy to be heading home again. So maybe it's Spider-Man 3 Home Again. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's a hint. It's Home something. I know they're going to keep that trend. But anyway, we have a friend, and she went to the London Symphony Orchestra live for Star Trek. And he did the score for the Star Trek movies, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, and she met him and had like a 15-minute conversation. And she texted me and she's like, "Look who I just met." And I went, "What? Who did? No!" And I had like a complete just like nerd moment because
I'm like, can I have a shout out?
I know. Well, she sent it to me like days after, so it wasn't even like it happened like that day. It was like 3 days after. But like she must have just like thought about it. She's like, I should tell. And oh my God, I was like, that's so cool though. She's like, yeah, he was really cool. Really, really like down to earth and just had casual conversation. And I'm like, I envy you so much because at the time, I was also still majoring in music, so I was like still very like freshly minded, and I hadn't fallen out of love with it just yet. So I was very envious. I'd still be envious because I love his work. But anyway, weird tangent. But anyway, yeah, I know Doctor Strange is supposed to make an appearance in Spider-Man 3 and help him fix some stuff there.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's like a double thing, like so Strange is in
it's definitely gonna all connect because that's one thing that the MCU does, I think, really well, like proactively. Not throwing shade or anything, genuinely not, but they are very proactive with, I think, a lot of their storytelling, and they know where they're gonna go, and they at least map it out. And there's like little continuity errors here and there, especially with like different directors and like all this time and stuff. And over the course of 22 films, I'm sure when you don't have one singular writer, even if you had one singular writer or you had like maybe up to 5, like people would forget things.
Right, yeah, of course.
Unless you're watching your movies every day or reading your scripts every day and whatever. Like I feel, they at least have like a good mapping out, I think, of where they want to go. I'm also interested to see, how Tony Stark kind of, led the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, everyone's like, oh, it's Captain America. And now people are like, oh, it's Captain Marvel. It's like, oh, Captain Marvel has been here for like a hot minute. She doesn't really know people.
Yeah.
So,
I think
I hope that's
Stark
within
was.
her arc that she kind of, I hope from a storytelling sense to build her character up, because so far, to me anyway, she's kind of just flatline. Far less interested in Captain Marvel as I am in Black Widow, who is having her coming of age moment far too late, in my opinion. And then with Scarlet Witch and Valkyrie, I cannot wait to see Valkyrie again in Thor 4. I also love Tessa Thompson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I hope that's part of the arc with Captain Marvel, is that she like struggles to like kind of be personable with these people who have known each other for quite a long time and have been through quite the adventures, for quite a while.
I mean, I can also kind of understand that in a way. I feel like the more powerful you are, the harder it can be for you to kind of, connect with someone, not necessarily who's like less powerful than you, but connect with them on more of like an intimate level. Because in a way, you like the amount of power you have can kind of set you aside from them.
Maybe.
If that makes sense.
That's true. Well, there's like different tropes that you have. So like Tony Stark had his arrogance, which just drove me absolutely crazy. Everybody. And so I know this movie came out like a long time ago. Well, it was like a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was a year ago.
A little over a year ago. And I feel like it was a long time just because this year has been an absolute drag. I did not expect to feel the way that I did when, spoiler, he died. Again, this movie's been out for a year, guys.
I bawled my eyes out in theaters. Like, literally, like,
I silently cried. I ended up, like, silently crying where, like, it happened, or like I knew it was happening, and I'm just like, oh, this is really sad.
I knew it was happening. I thought I was gonna be okay.
And then
when his light and his chest went out, I was like, oh my god!
What I think really like struck the string with me before the glass broke was Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I almost called him by his actor name. When Peter's like, we did it, Mr. Stark, we won. And he just backs at me and just like kind of just has that little moment. I'm just like, oh, like he plucked a string, but that string was overly tight, and then his light went out and the string broke, and I just kind of sat there and like like people were bawling. Some people were like, oh, like people were
one of those.
People were like wailing in the theater because this was like the day it came out too. Like I made sure because Infinity War, I had finals and juries, and I couldn't see it because I was just so stressed and busy with that. So like I started getting stuff spoiled. So with this one, I'm like, I'm seeing it the day it comes out, and I did. The guy next to me had the Thanos gauntlet. He had the Hasbro Thanos gauntlet. And I'm like, that's tight. Like it happened, and I just like silently teared. And then the wailing starts from everyone behind me, and I'm just like, okay, not just this is reality now. And it was such a weird moment, but. Sorry, I keep tangenting. I keep going like I'm a tree. My mind is like a tree.
Bunch of branches and roots.
Yeah, I got some roots, but like there's a lot of branches that go beyond the trunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're running out of time slowly.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, it was nice to talk about things other than
Star Wars
than
and
the Mandalorian
specifically.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that there is some more stuff to come. You know, other than Mando.
Right. Hopefully.
Although I love it. Next week will probably be a big week because it's the episode that my man Dave directs, and it's called The Jedi, and I'm so excited.
#Ahsoka Tano.
Oh my god.
So, you got anything else to say today, or?
Nope. Other than when I eventually see Ahsoka, I will bawl my
I want to have
eyes
a
out.
box of tissues ready for me.
That is going to be another episode where I stay up like past 3 o'clock in the morning to watch.
Yeah, I might do that too, honestly. Just watch it by myself, and I'll watch it with my mom, and then I'll watch it with you.
Like, I'll just have to like seclude myself so I don't. Well, maybe we'll watch it together and we'll just like
okay, just
seclude ourselves like in my studio.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in again to episode 3 of Reel It In. Today we've reeled in Mando again for the 3rd time. A little bit about Sharkboy and Lavagirl, been reeled in, and some WandaVision. Reel it on in. So please join me next time. Leave any thoughts, criticisms, or theories of your own, comments of your own. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.